The first town hall or guild hall was actually somewhere on this green. If you can find the whole Rockingham of 1834, they actually found the foundations and decided that it had been a two-storey building, downstairs a jail. But after the south transept, the next to be built was the chancel. There we have bona fide, we'll see them when we go to the vestry, the narrow English lancet windows, and that's your second row there. I think we've got to, what's the date starting the nave? 1275, starting the nave at this end. If you would look at that window, and you people kindly look at that window, we're into what was known as the decorated period.
I need a second lot. I might just walk out, might be something I don't know already.
There are some lovely things here, some lovely features also. Some splendid glass there.
It's 127, if my memory is still there, feet to the top of the pinnacles, which is not that high. I think I live in Hessel, and I think that spire's higher. Certainly St Patrick's at Paddington is higher. The vicar was a man called William Wass at that time, rector of Preston and vicar of Hedon. We didn't have a posh rector in Hedon, he was only a vicar. But this is a beautiful font, much nicer than Paddington, I have to say, which is much plainer. As of course, still in use, baptised.
immediately say, oh yes, the wallpaper, that's what we remember. It really hits it, doesn't it? Yes. Stunning one. There are rooms of Howard rather like this, and the most remarkable feature I think is the ceiling. I think the first or the second Lord Wenlock. So we're talking about early 19th century, so we're talking about 1830s or 40s. So I don't know if we're going to get into the Winter Garden. Have a try anyway. She said as a young one, when I marry, I don't mind who I marry, as long as he promises to allow me drawing lessons. And she had drawing lessons and painting lessons from the best, from G.F. Watts, for example, from Edward Burne-Jones. But you'll see if you look at the book that the paintings all lack something. She was missing that last part. She was useless at the human figure, for example.
That's White Rose, isn't it?
Yeah, White Rose.
So this is a Georgian church, consecrated in 1783, and it stood here, and its east end. Around here, the only other church was Kexby on the Hull Road, built.
But they're under, they come up under this flat.
I think this is probably the fourth church on this site. There's evidenced by the different stonework on the tower. So the tower has served for 3 churches.
This is the tour of Holderness. If you remember last year during the City of Culture, the expression was often used that Hull is the end of the line. Well, if Hull is the end of the line, what is the 15 to 25 miles to the east? So perhaps we're heading to the end of the earth today. So it's the end of the earth tour. I will tell you that Holderness is a strange, disappearing place which has seen some unexpected visitors. I'm going to talk about how its geology gives Holderness its character and has influenced its history, and I will recount some incidents from that history. I'm going to start off with some quotes to get you an idea about what place we're talking about. Geoffrey Chaucer in 1400 began the Summoner's Tale. Lordings there is in Yorkshire, as I guess, a marshy country called Holderness. Now, a more agricultural view from Henry Strickland described Holderness as the Clayland district, never contained any woods except those of Rise and Burton Constable, and very little hedgerow timber, and that of inconsiderable value. And coming a little bit closer to time, Philip Larkin said, "Behind Hull is the plain of Holderness, lonelier and lonelier, and after that the birds and lights of Spurn Head, and then the sea." The port of Hedon was formed as a new town in 1158 by William the Gros, Earl of Aumale or Albemarle, to export wool. And a huge church called St Augustine's was built to reflect the ambitions of the town. In 1203, Hull was the 6th most important port in the country by value of port duties, and Hedon was the 11th. So it was doing very well. That was in 1203. In 1280, Hedon residents were petitioning the government to fix their tax, as they were few and poor, and competition from Ravensworth and Hull were increasing from day to day. The port was already in slow decline. Now apparently Patrington acquired a bad name, Patrington Kill Priest, because so many of the priests at one particular period took on the job and then died shortly afterwards.
Very good.
This is the Queen of Holderness, considered by many who know far more than I do one of the finest parish churches in the country. Stone, of course, indicates prosperity, and early brick was a prestigious material. You may not know that Hull and East Yorkshire were early importers of brick and tile, so we were pioneers at that time. So if you see early medieval brick, it's not a substitute material, it's quite prestigious. But cobbles tended to fill in when times were hard. major storm in 2013 and a very high tide, which led to Spurn being breached completely. It's constantly changing its shape, but the breach has been healed and it is still possible to get down to the end. The rise and fall of Withensea, it was created as a purpose-built seaside resort for the railway age. In 1851, the village had 109 inhabitants. In 1854, just 3 years later, the rail passengers were 63,764 people. The church is only built in 1956 to replace the previous church, which was bombed in World War II. Visiting, and it has a crypt, which is a tiny little crypt, probably dating from Saxon times. It was in the 18th century, somewhere where an old lady lived. It's recently been discovered by archaeologists that many of the castles that the Normans built, rather than build their motte, which was the large hillock that they based the castle on, they found existing ones, many of which were barrows. And this was an Iron Age barrow. It's quite unusually high, and it's quite a find to have in this area.
Right, well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Doddington.
it is not one tapestry, it's lots of them. And the warp and the left, is that right?
That's
Warp and
yes,
left?
that's right.
Warp and left, which controls it, if you like, between each of the colours.
This is all conservation stitching, so this in it and it's placed on the back and we stitch through, so that's the back of the tapestry, that's the front.
Yeah, yes.
So this is done first.
So you did have to.
Yeah.
The backing
I'm
is
just
put there to give it the
intrigued by
support.
these 2 rows.
Yes.
Beyond this way.